Zompocians. It's a pleasure to once again broadcast across the apocalypse.
You're damn right. I'm Marc, and I'm in London. That was Bex, and she's in Manchester. And we're broadcast.
Blah, blah, blah.
That is Bex, and she's in Manchester, and we are broadcasting across the end of the world to help you transition to oblivion.
That's right. Since the start of the zombie apocalypse, we've been here, using this podcast to document Post-Zombie-Apocolypse Britain.
But we do so much more than that, though, Bex. We
do.
We not only document this little inconvenience, we also try to help you survive. We give you advice.
But most of that is about not catching a zombie STD.
That's true. Most of our advice is about zombie sex, admittedly. But hey-ho, that is the number one cause for getting bit these days. Let's be honest, Bex. You have to get your rocks off where and when you can.
Yeah, but hopefully with the living.
Well, hopefully, yes.
I mean, obviously, Marc and I are not necessarily the most qualified people to give you advice on surviving the zombie apocalypse. We were quite unprepared when it hit. So we actually tracked down survivors from all over the world, the best and the brightest minds in zombie fiction.
I think you're doing us a disservice there, Bex. We're still alive, we're still surviving, we have a podcast and everything.
True.
We like to gather together the world's foremost experts on all things zombie. Zombie authors, zombie actors, zombie directors, zombie producers, zombie... What else? What else is there? I can't think of anything.
We've not had an actual zombie on.
Yes, we had. We had Bob the Zombie. We had him every week.
Oh, we did have Bob the Zombie. We did.
He was on for a long while, and then he tooted off back to Newcastle. We like to have anybody on who knows anything about zombies. We find these guys across the apocalypse, and we bring them to you, and we interview them.
Yes, we pick their brains so you don't have to. Not literally, of course, but we ask some questions about zombies and shit.
Yeah, we do, in the hope that they can help us survive, but also to entertain you lot.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd die of boredom.
Yeah, die in a horrible, gory, bloody mess like a normal person, for Christ's sakes.
So, who have we got this week, Marc?
Well, we have a huge star, a genuine Hollywood actress, although she's not from Hollywood. She's from Toronto in Canada.
Shit the bed. Who?
Well, we are lucky enough to be joined by the actress from the incredible Romero movie, Land of the Dead, Joanne Boland.
Shut the fuck up. Prettyboy who drives Dead Reckoning.
Yep, that's the one. She's been
Amazing.
She's been in loads of other movies too, like Saw 4, X-Men Apocalypse. So she's been in other stuff too.
I love Land of the Dead. What a job, driver of Dead Reckoning. That is just... I need one of those. Vehicles. Yep. That would just make my life so much easier.
That's her, Prettyboy. The driver of the most badass vehicle in all of zombie fiction.
Yeah, great. Do you know what I'm really loving all the female badass zombie killers that we're having lately. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, she's hot too.
You're a weird pervert.
Yes I am.
So is she here? Are we ready? I'm nervous. I've never interviewed an actual Hollywood person before.
Chill your bones. She's just like a normal person. Except hotter, way hotter.
Fucking creep.
Right, we are exceptionally lucky to be able to be joined from across the apocalypse by the incredible, the talented Joanne Boland, who played Prettyboy in the Romero movie Land of the Dead. Welcome to our podcast.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us.
So the first question we like to ask each and every one of our guests is, how are you surviving the zombie apocalypse so far?
Now, very well, you've got to keep in mind the number one thing is that I'm Canadian. So a Canadian zombie apocalypse is a whole different thing, right? The zombie is very polite. I mean, before they're going to kill you, they would sort of, be kind about it, right? And also keep in mind, we're just coming out of winter, so we have the snow factor, which makes things much, much easier.
Sure. So it's a kinder, gentler apocalypse over there, is it?
That's right. Very polite, very kind.
Oh, lovely. That's nice.
No. So, Jo, we know you're a successful actress. You've had an incredible career in movie and TV, but we know you best for your role in Land of the Dead, the Romero movie. You played Prettyboy, the driver of Dead Reckoning. I mean, we've got so many questions about the movie. But first of all, how did you get the role?
Okay, so for me, it was just a simple, basic audition process. But it was funny because when I think they had already been in production at that point when they were casting the Prettyboy role. So I got the breakdown sent from my agent saying, there's this film, would you like to audition? But it's not like I was privy to the script at this point. So for me, when I was auditioning, it was, this scene here, this line here, but I had no context of what was actually happening in the film. So I was the one, I thought, okay, I want to do something different here. So I put my hair in the pigtails that you see in the film. So that was kind of the choice that I made, because I was like, all right, let's do, it's a character called Prettyboy, but let's try something different. So it was just one of those where I went in and just kind of made my choices. And then I was so fortunate to land the role.
Oh gosh, that must have been really difficult to kind of audition without a context. I can't imagine doing that.
To blindly kind of make choices with these lines where I had no idea what I was talking about.
Jo, you were obviously you had the dream come true for us anyway. You were lucky enough to work, with the great man himself, George Romero, as well as huge talented stars like Dennis Hopper, Simon Baker, and loads of others. What was it like on set, being surrounded by all these people?
Okay, so first off, I'm going to say I have a complete fear of zombies. So for me, the first day that I went in to go and do my wardrobe fitting, they were doing the scene, when the Dead Reckoning, when Riley, it's all the stuff with the bridge that goes down.
Oh, yeah.
So we were shooting, and it was obviously all night shoots. So we were going in, and that's where I was going to go in and meet with wardrobe so that I can, get everything kind of ready. And so I'm on set, and it's really dark, and there's, a lot of background. There's a lot of, zombies. But I'm kind of don't know exactly where I'm going. It's my first time, on the set. And then so I sort of was a little bit lost, and then I tapped on this fellow's shoulder just to say, excuse me, do you know where wardrobe is? He turns around, he's in full on zombie makeup. I'm dying. I'm truly because these guys are the masters, right? It looks so good. So I'm completely freaked out. So truly, that sort of encapsulates my time on this set. A lot of the time feeling nervous and kind of freaked out by what I'm seeing. It was nuts. It was absolutely nuts.
I can only imagine sort of going from set to set and just being freaked out by all the costumes around you. It must have been an incredible experience.
Absolutely, because they are so good. You'd always have, these legs here, these bloody legs or like torsos, and it was really, really freaky stuff. So well done, but super fun.
Amazing.
So the film, it was a financial success, but it was also such a big hit with critics, Romero fans, everyone. Has been part of a Romero movie series changed, I wouldn't say changed your life, but has it kind of changed your career in the direction it's gone?
Yeah, I mean, in the sense that it's kind of a film that people know about, and people get so excited to go, oh my God, you were Prettyboy, just because what was it like working with Romero? And it was truly such a gift working with him, because Romero doesn't care about any of the fame. None of that matters at all to him. He's such a storyteller, and for him it's about getting it to be authentic, and I completely appreciated that. So for me, it was, what an opportunity in my life to have gotten the chance to work with him, because he truly is a master.
He sounds like a really down-to-earth guy. I wonder if he'd come on the podcast.
He probably would. I am telling you, he is the coolest guy ever. And there's no, no sense of ego to him at all. He just completely cares about the work, and he's so passionate about it. And that's what, especially as an actor, you were drawn to, because he's truly approachable. If you had a question about anything, he was not somebody where you felt uncomfortable in asking. For him, all it's about is making the best film possible. And
that's kind of what you want in a boss as well, isn't it? Someone who will be nice to you.
Yeah. So for me, I completely appreciate that. So,
I was talking to some other Romero fans earlier today, And I think we all agreed that the one thing we'd like to see is a Dead Reckoning movie, a movie about the vehicle. Do you think that would ever happen in the future? Do you think that's something that may have happened? And if they offered you the job, would you take it?
I, hands down, absolutely would take it. The Dead Reckoning, those guys that built it, it was such an incredible vehicle. It was truly to look at it and see what they did, because it was made out of like a tractor trailer, like a semi, and so it was this big beast, and it was it was so intricate. The design of it was just fascinating to watch, and I think it would be pretty cool to kind of see, well, what happened after? What did they do? And because it was such an amazing vehicle. I loved it. I
mean, one thing you noticed, we read a lot of zombie fiction here on this podcast, and we watch a lot of zombie movies, but I mean, you don't have the focus on the vehicle in the same way that Land of the Dead was. And I think it would be a great TV series, Dead Reckoning the series.
I'm with you. I like your thinking.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? A Land of the Dead series, like a Netflix original. I can imagine that. That'd be really good. That'd be like the future of the zombie apocalypse genre.
Well, yeah, like I think it would be, and I think there was talk from it for like a long time, because everything was held in storage, right? Because in case they made, so, and I think kind of right now with, it would be an absolute success for sure.
Yeah, well, The Walking Dead's a huge success. There is such a huge market for zombie serials. You can imagine
absolutely.
It really,
and I think people are, absolutely, completely.
I have a question, and this is just my own personal question because it's been bugging me since I ever first watched Land of the Dead. Where did the name Prettyboy come from? Why is the character called Prettyboy?
So this actually came from an early draft of the script. Now, the jacket in which I wear in the movie, it has Prettyboy spray painted on the back, and there's actually a bullet hole in it.
Right.
And the idea is that I basically came upon this dead body, took the jacket, and then as well assumed the name Prettyboy because of the jacket in which I was wearing.
Did your character kill that person then? Is that the backstory?
No, the backstory was that I just came across this person and then stole it, scavenged it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And I now own the jacket. I was able to actually get the jacket, so I have it in my closet. So I
love it. Shut up.
I know, I love it. I love it. Sometimes I just put it on, and days where I need to sort of,
feel
find some confidence, feel good, feel tough. There's a little Prettyboy.
I think you should put that jacket on and send a picture to us of you wearing that jacket. That'd be wonderful.
Totally.
With the pigtail.
Will.
I would love that so much. That'd be amazing.
For sure.
So I was thinking of it, because I've watched Land of the Dead probably 5 or 6 times. It's one of my favourites. Yeah. Any kind of zombie film, to be honest, but Land of the Dead's one that always sticks with me. I'm not 100% sure why. I just think it's a little bit different.
Yes, absolutely.
But one thing that's always struck me was kind of at the end. So Prettyboy, your character, was she wanted to shoot cognitive zombies, but Riley stops her from shooting. And I know, like Riley says, they're just looking for somewhere to go, just like all the characters are looking for somewhere to go. Words to that effect. But they're just going to have to fight them later. I don't understand why they let them leave. Really, was there ever a basis to that? Was there ever an explanation?
No, I think it was just, as you were saying, there's almost that connection that you have in those moments between. That the human aspect of the zombie, the feelings and how they've, you sort of can't just look at them that they don't have feelings. I think in that moment, it is the connection the humanity of it. And I think that's why they don't shoot.
Yeah, because in other zombie films that you kind of get the brainless, mindless, shuffling, drooling zombies. But I think this was one of the first films that was like, well, actually, there might still be a spark of humanity in there.
Yeah, and you feel for them, and you see that process of what they're going through, which I think Eugene Clark, who plays Big Daddy, there's a couple moments in the film that I'm like, oh man, he does such a good job of conveying that, right?
He really does. He really does. It's in his facial expressions. He kind of goes from this kind of lax, just mindless facial expression. You can almost see him changing throughout the film. It's really
exactly. Yeah.
My wife and I were talking about this earlier about Eugene. We were saying that he has a natural charisma without even using his voice. You just look. He holds the screen, doesn't he? His presence.
And he's such a lovely guy, and he's a brilliant brilliant singer as well.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, he played. I think he played Mufasa in Lion King here.
Oh wow!
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, you got to be able to sing to do that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that a few times. Your voice has got to be bang on. Okay, I've got a couple more questions before we leave. Obviously, we're British. I don't know if you noticed that, but we are. And here in Britain, we have our zombie uber superheroes, and they're Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright. They obviously made Shaun of the Dead, but they were in Land of the Dead too. Did you get to meet them? Did you have your picture taken with them in the zombie photo booth?
I did not get. I'm sad. I did not get the zombie photo booth, but I did meet the two of them because we went to the premiere of Land of the Dead in Pittsburgh, which was super cool. So it was a whole bunch of people that had come, like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, and because Greg Nicotero had brought them from LA, and as well, so Simon and Edgar were there too, so we got to kind of hang out with them and get to know them a bit, and they're really great guys, and they obviously have such respect for Romero, as Romero does for them, so I know how much he definitely loved Shaun of the Dead. So
we've had a few questions from fans of the movie as well. They've sent them through to us, so we were just going to ask you a couple of fan questions. Is that all right?
Oh, of course, that's awesome.
So one of them, you've talked about Dead Reckoning kind of being a real truck. Was it actually like a drivable truck? It wasn't just...
No, it was totally. I never got to drive it. I was never fortunate. Any of the stuff that you see me kind of driving it was it studio stuff where they'd actually take the front off the truck, but they're full on. We're able to, because all the scenes that you see, where the fireworks, when they're in the town, all of it was completely able to. They were driving it around. It was amazing.
Awesome.
Okay, so I had another question from someone on our Facebook group that said, is George Romero fun to work with because he looks like a cuddly dude?
Absolutely so fun to work with. And the thing about Romero is he's so tall, right? And he just, he looks like a zombie, because we would have stuff where, there's a couple, I don't know if where I saw these pictures, but some of the stills photographer got these incredible shots of Romero, because there was a part where they, in the track that's underneath that films, where they go from transporting stuff into the city, and it was like him walking down a tunnel, and because he's so kind of tall and gangly, he's just looking back and he looks like the perfect zombie, but he's the sweetest man and no ego whatsoever.
Amazing.
So you've already said that you're a bit scared of zombies. So
yes.
Did you ever watch any zombie films before you signed up for Land of the Dead? Were you a zombie fan, or did you just think, I'll just try my hand at it?
No. I tried to watch, and I did. I watched all the Romero flicks beforehand, so I knew what I was getting into. And I just love them because they're such social, political commentaries, and they're just so fascinating to watch. But I really do have a hard time. I have such an active imagination that I would go to sleep and have nightmares about zombies. So, they do still to this day freak me out.
I have a question from a guy called Marcus Lewis, who runs the Weekend of the Dead show here in the UK, and a lot of Romero actors go over there and they do conventions and stuff. So he runs that show, and he emailed me literally 10 minutes before we started recording. He said to ask you this question: Do you feel like Prettyboy was misled by Cholo?
That's a really good question, because you do see there's a point in the film where you obviously, you have, Simon Baker's here, you have Riley, and you have Slack, and, they are considered the sort of good guys. But on the flip side, you look at Cholo, and really the reason that he's doing what he's doing is for the right reasons. He absolutely, he's doing it because obviously the way that Dennis Hopper character is running is he doesn't care about anybody else. He has all these people, but it's to serve the rich. So it's interesting because you can kind of see, I waver on both sides because I believe both of them have, both of them have reasons for why they're doing what they're doing, and valid, good reasons, but that's I hadn't thought about that before.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant question, which is why I wanted to include it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all of our questions from fans for now. I'd just like to say a huge thank you, Jo. I really appreciate you coming on our podcast. It was lovely to talk to you.
You've been absolutely amazing. It's been probably one of the best, it's probably one of the top 3 interviews, I reckon, that we've done this one. It's
thank
really
you.
good.
Anytime.
I really enjoyed it.
Gosh.
Oh, thank
you guys, your show is so fantastic. I've been catching up on it, and just you got a huge Canadian fan over here.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you,
Marc,
Jo.
Joanne Boland listens to our podcast. Giddy.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.
Speak to you soon. Bye.
Right, that was another great interview.
I think you enjoyed that a little too much.
Yeah, well, to be honest, and we don't usually have the Hollywood types on GMZ, do we?
What are you saying?
Nothing.
Pig.
Pardon?
Nothing.
So what have you been up to this week, Bex?
You know, the usual, fighting zombies, scavenging for food, helping the helpless.
Yeah, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Seen Derek and his goons lately?
Actually, no. To be fair, it's like I said the other week, it's all mouth and no action. That's the thing with these, like, fucking cognitive type zombies. They're all gobby, but they ain't got shit.
You are
shit.
You are a fearless warrior woman, you know that?
I certainly do. And you are a big girly blouse of a man. You know that, don't you?
I do indeed, I do.
Do you want to share with the listeners your midnight mercy call to Bex?
No, not really. If we can avoid it, we can. But I have a suspicion that no matter what I say, how often I change the subject, you are likely to want to tell everyone anyway.
You're damn fucking right I am.
Great.
So, Marc called me via Skype at probably just gone midnight the other night. Now, the only reason Marc ever calls me on Skype is for 2 things. Number 1, to record a podcast. And number 2, he's showing off about something. Some demon stuff, some lucky bastard shit. I mean, he is the luckiest bastard in the zombie apocalypse. He'd fall out of a pile of shit smelling like roses at this point. But he called me, and first of all, he was sober. It's a bit unusual. Secondly, he was shit scared. And I mean, proper shit scared. So I said to him, what's going on? Zombies, demons, zombie clowns, demon zombie clowns, fucking giant zombie gleaming clown, devil dog fuckers. But guess what?
You don't really have to tell everyone, Bex. We could just edit this bit out.
Yes, I do. It was a fucking mouse. Marc is afraid of mice. Marc, our fearless podcast leader who consults with demons and slaughters zombies, called me in the middle of the night because he was too shit scared to catch a mouse.
Well, they're tiny and they scamper at you with the little fucking thing. Ugh.
Yeah. The small scamper furry little fucker was terrifying big brave dickhead over there.
Thank you. I'm so very glad that you felt the need to share this.
So, I called Marc's wife because I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do in Manchester? What are you doing calling me for? Go and speak to your missus. She disposed of the mouse. Marc took deep breaths from a paper bag on a chair in the corner. LOL.
I'm so glad you decided to share this.
You are very welcome.
Fuck's sake.
What a great show this week.
Yes.
Well, it was for me, anyway. But I'd like to thank our guest for coming along, the fabulous Jo. We've got another fabulous Jo.
That was an incredible guest. Thank you, Joanne, so much. You've made our week, you've made our year, you've made our season so far. Being on the show is really I know that when we have a big guest, I call this blowing smoke up their arse, don't I? But honestly, I'm not blowing smoke up her arse. This is literally just me saying that I thought she was a charming person and a huge guest, and she really blew me away when she said she still has the jacket with Prettyboy on it with the bullet hole.
Just be careful, because if you go any further up her arse, you won't find your way out. I mean, I wouldn't miss you, but some people might.
Thank you to everyone for listening. Please don't forget to get in touch via email.
wineandgiggles@gmail.com.
And stay in touch via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Come to our Facebook group as well. We've got a group, Good Morning Zompoc. We've also got a page, Good Morning Zompoc. Sometimes you may get a bit confused, but normally the group is a bit more active. It's where we discuss all things that are coming up on the podcast, including next week we have got our first GMZ live podcast where we've got me, Marc. We've got a couple of the admins from the Facebook groups. We've got Joe and Diane with us. We've also got Jessica Ward, who we interviewed not so long ago. We've also got Ricky Fleet from Ricky Fleet's Smelly Feet. And we've also got...
Matt Hickman.
Did
you nearly forget?
I know there's one more.
Yeah, no, it's Matt Hickman, who's the horror author. And
He's the horror author, and we interviewed him with Stuart Keane.
Yeah, and it's not next
last
week.
Season.
It's the week after. It's 21st.
No, it's next week, isn't it?
No, next week's 14th. That's Good Friday. It's the week after.
Okay, it's the 21st. So pull up a chair. It's going to be on YouTube. We'll put all the links and everything on a post on the Facebook group. Pull up a chair and listen to us all talk shit about zombie fiction for about an hour.
Yeah, we're going to spend an hour and a half. Bex is going to spend an hour because she's going to spend half of it sleeping because she'd be drunk by the last half. Yes. We're going to spend an hour and a half talking about zombies. We do have a subject.
I'm going to have to be drunk to listen to Matt Hickman's disgusting humour.
Oh, it's going to be funny. Matt Hickman, apart from being a dark horror writer, I mean, he writes some dark shit. He's a funny guy as well. He's a funny guy. Ricky Fleet, obviously, he writes a fantastic British zombie series. It's like the Mario Brothers' zombie series, really. So that's fantastic. And then, obviously, Jessica Ward, she wrote the E-Virus series, which is sort of the girly version of the zombie apocalypse. Am I allowed to say that? Is that sexist?
The girly version? I suppose it is a girly version.
Yeah, but it's fantastic. It's a good book too. So all these authors and zombie enthusiasts, and we're going to sit down and we're going to do a live show. If all the technology works well, it should be a lot of fun. And we're going to have some drinks. We're going to make some cocktails, and we're going to discuss zombies. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Is there a zombie cocktail? I need to look at this.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the process of creating a zombie cocktail, the Good Morning Zompoc cocktail, and I'm going to patent it. So it's going to be Marc's patent Good Morning Zompoc cocktail.
Cool. That sounds amazing. So we may not survive this this live broadcast with what you're putting in your zombie cocktail, but we will have fun.
Yeah, it ought to be fun. I'd like to thank everybody for listening. We may have had some new listeners today because obviously our guest, Joanne. So if you have listened to our podcast for the first time, thank you very much for joining us. We are very grateful. Please join us on all those social medias, join us on the Facebook group, and be part of the whole team. We're going to have more interviews with not only authors, we've got more authors coming up, we've also got more actors. We've got Kate Ashfield coming up, and she played Liz in Shaun of the Dead. Is it Liz?
She did.
So we're going to be talking about more Simon Pegg stuff, probably. Yeah,
but that's fine. Everyone loves Simon Pegg.
They do. So thanks everybody for listening. Remember, everybody, to stay safe.
And remember to kick ass.
Bye-bye.
Bye.